really just came about, specifically King of the Hammers came about because we live in with Johnson Valley OHV area. It's got the hammer trails out there, and we all go and trail ride them. And it started getting kind of extreme when people started doing, you know, who was going to do more things and who can go faster and do more trails. And a long time ago, you know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years, I don't even remember. A long time ago, we started talking about how many trails could you run in a quick amount of time. And we went out and ran 4 trails in one night. Like everyone went to bed, and 4 of us went out and peeled out and ran up Sledge and down Jack and up Wrecking Ball and down back to camp. We got back to camp, we started talking a bunch of crap, and you know, who was fast and who could do what, and that kind of stuff. And it became a kind of a crap talking session about, you know, who could really do it. Would it be a pro driver or a local driver? Who would actually win the thing? And it kind of spurred on from there. And about a year later, I met Jeff Knoll, and he had the idea of had a completely different idea about racing, and we spun around and we came back to the whole King of the Hammers concept, and we did it. They ran the race, and they ran 11 trails and a bunch of desert, and they did it in like less than 3 hours. And it basically changed everything, because up until that point, you know, the normal trail guy would go out and run 1 or 2 trails in a given day. You know, if you could go out and run Sledgehammer and Jack in the same day, you were hardcore. And now we're talking about running 11 trails and a desert and being done before lunch. People just don't do it. And that's how it started.
Finishing the top place here at Rausch Creek is going to be, it's going to be brain smart. There's a lot of horsepower here. There's a lot of guys from the West that are used to doing this desert racing. Well, here at Rausch Creek, here in Pennsylvania, we don't have no tumbleweeds. When you make a mistake here at Rausch Creek, you're going to hit an oak tree, or you're going to hit a coal mine that used to be making somebody a living. So the tumbleweed boys, they're going to find out what an oak tree is all about here on the East Coast. You know, I've been coming here to Rausch Creek for a while, and my co-driver Ryan Matthews, which is right here from Pennsylvania, and the Pennsylvanians, you know, they're Pennsyltuckians, because it's the closest thing to a real Kentuckian you ever find. And we talked about what we were going to change, and we run RC rocks here at Rausch Creek. My wife competes with the same truck, and we rock. We changed absolutely nothing, except for we went from a 17-inch rim BFG to a 15-inch Super Swamper IROC, figuring on the sidewall, giving us a little bit more suspension. We left it set at the rock crawl pace for the rock crawl competition. We allowed for the tires to compensate for the speed, and we're going to hammer down.
We went to pre-run the course yesterday, not knowing the rig or anything else, obviously trying to put it through its paces, see what it can and can't do. And we got a quarter of the way through the course, and we blew a water pump and a belt. And it left us scrambling to make tech. And then last night in the pouring down rain, wrenching on it pretty much till 11 o'clock, trying to get it ready for this morning. There's 2 really big climbs, and with the rain yesterday, there was guys not making and rolling and braking, and a lot of people showed up. I know at least of 6 or 7 breakages that happened yesterday just trying to make those particular climbs, and I don't think today's going to be any easier.
Do you think that the weather from today will play a factor in tomorrow's racing?
Yes.
Well, co-driver, what do you think? You answer this.
I think so, definitely.
Here's mud in your eye.
Here's mud in your eye.
Starting lineup at 9 a.m. We need you guys to stage at 9 a.m. tomorrow for a 10 a.m. start time. The clock is going to start ticking at 10 a.m. whether we start or not. So that's your starting time, 10 a.m. You need to be lined up and staged at 9 a.m. We're going to start the staging at 9. JT is going to help me do that here at the starting line right out front for me. The next thing I want to talk about is the starting order. We're going to start you guys 2 wide. Kind of like King of the Hammers this year. Side by side, we're going to start you 1 minute apart. That's going to give you guys enough room on the race course. But starting side by side, you're going to be racing right off the bat. Watch out at the end of the drag race here. There's a good sized bump over there. And it bottlenecks down pretty quick. So be in front and be aware. Next thing I want to talk about, there's a little bit of controversy at King of the Hammer with these. These are called the red cards, or as Mustard Dog like to put it, the fink cards, because they're pink. This is your one shot to call foul. Each driver gets one. You need to make sure you see me. If you don't have one at the race tomorrow morning, or if your friends don't have one at a race, then make sure we find a way to get them this pink card.
Serious, actually. So, I mean, everybody everybody knows about what happened at King of the Hammers with regards to Will and Shannon and all that kind of stuff. It's racing. It happens. We took care of it and moved forward.
And in the future, we've been working hard for you guys to bring this racing all over the country. And I thank everybody for coming out here to Rausch Creek this weekend on the East Coast. It's a pleasure coming out here. It's a beautiful course. You guys are going to have a ball tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Number 617, number 11, 007, and 812. Come on up. Number 69.
The Swiss Army Knife, Joint Force Racing. Good luck today, guys. Number 108. I'm Smell Pro. Good luck today, sir. We'll see you out there. Number 816. Seawoods Extreme BF Goodrich Tires and Amsoil. Good luck today. And the number 816. North Carolina. Carolina Driveline.
It started in December with a trip out from Hammer King. Dave Cole came out. We took a tour of the property. After that, tons of emails, phone calls, negotiations, chasing sponsors, chasing competitors. A lot of planning, a lot of meetings, and then this week our guys thrashed to get the place ready. Those guys are what made this event happen. They put it all together. I can't even tell you the hours.
That's going to round out our field. 4, 3, 2, 1. Number 69, Charlie Meltzer. Running the full circle JK Swiss Army Knife, Joint Force Racing. Good luck today, guys.
So we're on the start line, but you're actually sharing with somebody else. We're right next to Eugene Rhodes from Race Crawlers. And Eugene looks over at me and he's like, "Hey, Smiley, what are you going to do off the line?" Because, of course, everybody knew that there's this big divot down at the end of the first straightaway there down the hill. You couldn't really see from the cameras at the start line, but it was there. And so I said, well, we're going to probably take it pretty easy. We know at the bottom of the hill, we got to make that hard right in the downhill, go past the offices down there and the trailers, and then go out to the high speed section. No reason to wreck the buggy right away. But of course, when you get started racing, all you want to do is mash the pedal, and you don't want to make it look like you're slow next to the other guy. So we started to go off the line, and I kept it up pretty even with Eugene, and then I pulled back right at the last second, thinking, okay, I want to see a yard sale here, but he pulled it out, and then we both kept going. And it was fun, that side-by-side racing right in the beginning of the event really started off the race in Austin.
west, or south, Rausch Creek's #1. So having King of the Hammers here, you know, the boys out west, they wheel, they got wheeling in their backyard. Us East Coast boys, we work, we strive, we make wheeling come to us. The West Coast come to the east. We're here at Rausch Creek, King of the Hammers.
KOH is the next big thing. Rock crawling is where we all started out, and going fast is what we all aim to achieve. And the KOH is the best mix of going fast and rock crawling. I believe out here at this course, it's going to be playing it smart. There's a lot of deep mud holes with hidden rocks, a lot of slick climbs, and the guys that are going to go all out are probably going to break early, and the guys that are going to hold back a little bit are probably place well.
We started out, we left second group out, got through the speed side, got down to what we call Jotter's Way, and all hell broke loose.
So we came flying up to Jotters on the second lap, and there was basically people just all over the hill and lined up down the road, and so I just started passing everybody on the right, and Adam goes to me, he's used to kind of like trail riding where somebody's playing on an obstacle and you wait for him. So when I started to pass everybody out, he's like, "What are you doing? You can't do that." And I was like, "The hell I can't," So we went through and went up, got up Jotters. Just only ran into one guy on the hill, and luckily it was a buddy of ours.
Well, then when we got back to the other side of the property, we went past the pits and we're lining up for Jotter's Way, and I'm thinking, hey, this is going to be no problem. It's going to be nice and easy. I didn't know Clayton had started just ahead of us, so he was a little bit in front of us. So we start going up the hill, and all of a sudden we're having problems. Looking like road drivers, going like, what the hell's going on here? Normally we don't have a problem because this section in Jotter's Way is, a no-brainer. So we, changing the transfer case to the lower gear, or sucking the winch in, trying to make sure that we've got all the advantage we can and start down the hill, we start having some problems. So then we look in the rearview mirror and we see that somebody's behind us, and we think, okay, well, etiquette on the race is supposed to be that you're supposed to pull over for somebody that's, ahead of you on time if they're coming up from behind you. Well, as soon as we pulled over, we looked, we realized it was actually Will Carter. Well, Will had started a minute before us. The fact that he was coming up behind us really meant that I guess he wasn't in front of us, but at that point we were already committed, we pulled over. So he's just absolutely going into Jotter's Way and bouncing into us, with rocks going everywhere. And at this point when I realized, man, do I really know what I'm getting into in this racing, because we're just getting absolutely hammered.
The first lap, we go down and we're hauling butt through the go fast section, and we get over there to Jotter's Way, and man, it's like cars stacked on top of cars, and guys just wah, just giving it hell. And we winch up through and make it up through after spending what seemed like an eternity giving it hell. And I get to the very other side of the race course, and we're doing about 60 coming around this curve and hauling ass. I pulled the cutting brake and started to slow down just a hair, and my front left wheel went flying into the woods. The lug nuts backed themselves off, and the tire went about 100 yards into the woods, and I went and got it, and the axle was dug down into the dirt, and we got that all fixed up, but it took us like 3 hours to get back. And
From Jotter's Way, just the whole day was a struggle. We rolled in there, we were third truck to hit Jotter's Way. After we tried the hill once or twice, then the jalopy got ran over. It took an hour and a half to get everything repaired, and then we were back in the race for a little while. For a little while. We struggled. We had overheating problems.
Having every single other person on it. It was I hope everybody's using environmentally friendly cooling. That should be required.
Everybody's been to race. We've been over to what we call the Rock Garden, Rock Creek. At that intersection, we proceeded to get a flat tire, and then we had to walk 9 miles back to get a tire, 9 miles back. That was an experience at King of the Hammers.
Cut it down. The steam whistle works. That is unreal. You throw that away.
Oh, we're doing all right. It's hot. Truck's been hot. It's a little different style of wheeling than running competition, 10 minutes at a time, shutting it off. Took the passenger seat out, tried to get some more air into it. Awesome pit stop from all my guys today. We're just in it. It ain't 6 o'clock yet, and we ain't out yet.
Well, when you first start rolling over, you're like really, oh crap, you start looking for things to hold on to. And now when you roll over, you're like, it just doesn't even phase you anymore. You try to figure out a way to either A, stop the truck from rolling, or figure out how to get the truck back on its wheels once it does stop rolling. Just never stop thinking. You gotta know which gear you're in, which way to turn the wheels, and try to get it back on its wheels so you can keep competing.
The problem is we're not the desert, we're not the West Coast. So we can only put a twist on that so much. We did our best to add rock crawling with speed, and I think we accomplished it. It'll never be the desert and King of the Hammers out in Johnson Valley, but I think we did a pretty good job with what we had. I think is shock tuning. You get your suspension to work right, you get your shocks to get dialed in, so you can go your 60, 70 miles per hour over the whoops, and then still crawl the nastiest stuff. If you can dial your rig in that way, you have a legitimate shot at winning.
Basically endurance. I mean, to have a rig set up for endurance. When we compete in We Rock, basically we run 10 minutes. That's all we run per course. These things had to run for several hours at a time. The We Rock rigs are generally not set up for that kind of endurance. And biggest thing is trying to figure out how to set it up for endurance, to be able to handle the abuse for such a long time period.
No trees out in Johnson Valley. And I don't know how long before the main race they had rain, but the day before the race out in Rausch Creek we had rain, so it kind of added a lot to it. And I know pre-running those guys were covered, but I think that's the main thing. I think the trials were harder because we had a little bit of dampness on it at the beginning. It really kind of evened everybody out as they were going.
Just a whole different world. They're not used to rain, they're not used to mud, they're not used to how rocks can change with temperatures. And like slick rock, when it gets wet, it's slick. When it's dry, you have traction. This compressed granite and concrete we have, it doesn't matter if it's pouring, if it's dry, you got the same amount of traction. And they're not used to where, like slick rock and stuff like that. And even the sandstone they have out there, you get your wheel spinning and you're hopping, you keep spinning. Here, if you get your wheel spinning, you hop, and when it grabs the rock we have here, it's just going to break stuff. It doesn't matter how big you build it, it's going to break. The greatest example for that is Clayton. driving high speed off his loading dock to see if his buggy can handle it. Doing stuff like that to test their vehicles out to see if they can handle the jumps and the high speed and just the utter abuse of their vehicles. I know Lou and Doug and Clayton were out at the park many times, driving as fast as they could through certain areas, just beating their stuff as much as they can just to see if it'll hold up. And they did. Because there's always been that East Coast, West Coast kind of friendly rival, and everybody always says there's nothing to do here. Because everything out there is they just drive out to the desert, find some slick rock and go play. Well, here, everything's more governed. We actually have to have off-road parks like Rausch Creek to go to, and a lot of people don't travel to go see those areas, so they don't get to play them and stuff, and they think we don't have anything here. Well, people like that come out, they race all day long, pretty much blow their trucks up and say we've never had anything challenge us as much as what we just went through. So that makes us feel good because it shows that we can do an event like that where it challenges the people you see in the magazines and you hear about all the time. It challenges them more than any race that's been in.
The attrition rate between California and the RCQ was pretty close to the same thing. Basically, a third of the trucks finished. Definitely, the wet and the mud at Pennsylvania was a big factor in the race. It's not something you're going to see in California. It's dry. It's the desert. You're not going to have mud.
We make it over the drop off. We make it through Rock Creek. Everything else, we're doing okay. We get all the way back to the start-finish line. Dave Cole meets us at checkpoint 3 right there at the start-finish line.
609, you got something blown apart in the front of the car.
He said, hey, your steering is all messed up and you're leaking coolant. All I hear is leaking coolant. And I said, we're running at 180. How bad can it be? I said to him, can I go? He said, I guess. And he's looking like I'm crazy. I said, well, everything must be fine. So I shot off and kept going. We've only got about an hour and a half. They get another 2 laps that we're going to take us probably an hour each. We're just going to have to call the race and just say that we did as best as we could. And that was our 2.5 laps of the RCQ.
Because there's so much traction out there and, seeing the trails in California, basically I think the key, California is, you're just going to have to be able to go fast or you don't really have a chance.
I'm a technical driver. I'd like to be out in the rocks, but everybody likes to go fast. Like Ricky Bobby says, "Mama, I'm going fast." Everybody wants to do it.
Okay in there? Only one in there. Okay. All right, clear. Go away from the strap. All right, take them. Whoa, whoa! Hold up, hold up, hold up. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Hold up. Right. Challenge, get going. All right, back here to the start finish line. First challenge, get going. Start.
over just in case you don't start. There he goes.
I was down right near checkpoint 2, so we had a high-speed turn. Everybody stopped, took off, so we didn't see a lot of action. But the funny thing about it was Kim Sears always coming around in her southern accent. We knew who she was, even though her buggy was covered in mud, because she just yelled 42, and all of us were just dying laughing the whole entire time. I mean, that was like the best spot of it, where we were at. You know, there were so many spectators and just guys that normally wheel that were there that were like, I want to run it next year. I was helping out, and even I was like, I want to try running it next year. It's definitely intense, and I think next year there'll be more competitors giving a shot. I think Bruce is going to try to run some type of local RC, you know, rock race series, which is going to turn out to be good. You're going to get a lot more people out there trying to compete. So it kind of seems where the sport's going, besides rock crawling, is more rock racing. So bringing that out to the East Coast was a good thing for us.
We actually were keeping on our sheet everybody that finished that checked in. So every lap you would see, it's full course, then it would cut in half, then it would cut in half, and then it would cut in half, and then at the end it was 2. And that was pretty cool because we were just watching who's on which lap and who's doing what. And when those two would come up, remember the second lap or something like that, Will comes up and goes, "How far in front is he?" And we're like, he's like, "He's close." So he's running it. The next time Will's in the front. The next time Clayton's in the front. The next time Will is behind Clayton, pushing him to the line, and they're both bolting off, and then he passed him around the corner then.
The 5 laps was every time we came down the high-speed section, it was fun, it was exciting. We pulled into that rock creek every time. The first time I'm like, all right, it was kind of exciting because it was just that whole boulder field, and it's kind of exciting. And there's a couple of videos. I can't believe how fast he actually got through there. The third and fourth time, I was almost like, you know what? I'm just gonna run next to the truck. I want out. It was my helmet, the whole right side of my helmet, all the paint's gone. I was just getting thrown around in there. It was just brutal. That 4th and 5th lap, I was like, no, not the Rock Creek again. And it's, it was a tough race, especially that part.
Rausch Creek put together this incredible race, and Dave and Jeff came out from King of the Hammers. And I mean, I'll tell you what, today's race was absolutely off the hook. I've raced in all 3, well, short of the 4th one that they had, King of the Hammers races, and this one by far was the hardest. I mean, we're talking only 60 miles, and guys are coming in at 5 and 7 hours. And I mean, there's some big horsepower here today, and guys were just laying the wood to the pedal, just trying to get up through stuff. All that rain that we got last night, there's something like 1.5 inches, 2 inches of rain last night, and the trails were a mess. I mean, it was absolutely a mess. So it was good racing today. I was glad to see this many guys actually finish. And I mean, really, we're looking at like a quarter finish rate, like 25% finish rate, which is most of these races you look at, they're in the neighborhood of like 40% to 50%. Man, that just shows you how tough the race was right there. Hell, there was like every single lap, there was absolutely something crazy that happened.
We pulled it all together at the last minute, and it's all about.
I said you can't quit.
He quit?
I quit. Co-driver can drive, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
Stan, is that you?
Yeah, that's me, dude.
Buried in there, huh?
Fucking Brandon.
Dave,
does he just need this one up or both of them?
I just need zip ties. I ain't got any.
Hey, anybody got any zip ties for a fellow competitor? I need another competitor with zip ties.
One thing about out there, the competitors are so cool. I mean, they would help you with your winch line because, you know, it was all one big band of brothers out there. So it was it was great. It was pretty neat.
Competitors are running with a bunch of zip ties.
It's a piece of.
Well, other drivers can, but.
See, just total strangers jumping in. That's a good feeling to know that there's guys out there that have love for the sport and they're not afraid to jump in and get dirty and help you. That's a good feeling to know that's out there. And you know, you're putting the show on for them. They appreciate it. And for them to jump in and help you, that even makes you want to drive harder and try to do whatever else you can for the fans that are there watching.
Anybody got a sight on Clayton? You see him coming up? 23 seconds to go. If he crosses in 23 seconds, he wins. 12, 11. It looks like Will Carter's going to be the winner of the Rausch Creek Qualifier. It's official right now. Will Carter is your winner. What's our spread there? Will Carter wins that race after all this hell. Here, gentlemen, it doesn't get any better than this race. It's amazing. We're going to start interviewing right now. Will, come on over here for a second. Clayton's going to get turned off. I'll give him the news first. Clayton, after all that work, after running back and forth and you guys going back and forth, just want to give you the word. Will Carter bested you by 18 seconds today. I'm going to talk to Will first, and I'm going to come and talk to you because you guys are amazing. What an amazing, amazing performance you guys put on. Will, talk to me about that. How was your day?
That was tough.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thanks for all the description, Will. Hey, Jeff, you're the interview guy. Come on and get this on.
Well, first off, let's give him that checkered flag. Will Carter, winner of the Rausch Creek Qualifier.
I mean, that was a little tougher, I guess. You know, good job. That might have been might have been tougher than KOH. I don't know.
Well, we're learning. And thanks to Bruce and everybody here at Rausch Creek for making that thing real tough.
When I came back on lap 4, Dave Cole gave me the white flag and says, it's 5 o'clock, you have 1 hour to get back. And I still had a fuel stop ahead of me. So I head out here, hit that as fast as I can, come back, I'm telling them gas and go, gas and go. Everything else went good. By this time, everybody's either broke or finished. So I had clean air, so to speak, all day.
Skip ahead here, here we go. Just throw it up and going over the rock.
And this little berm up here, this little drop off, gave us trouble with lap 1. We flipped it over on its side, broke a hydraulic line. When we came across it now, just on the last lap, with time definitely not in my favor, it was up on the stinger and I'm staring straight at the ground and it's just like, come on, man, can I get you to brake this one time? And then, nope, right on the slid. So, since I was blocking the course, the spectators can help me back on my wheels, but I'm facing the wrong way. Unfortunately, the throttle cable broke, so I turned the choke all the way up, but now it's wide open.
Help Bravo to get across this finish line.
Look at the competitors running up the rocks right now. Every single person that competed today. Getting up there and bringing it back. Hopefully they all come back alive.
So I'm coming across, they're running up to help me push it across the finish line. So I'm running it wide open, just running the on and off switch, just, you know.
I'm sorry you did. But I'm also going to tell you something else. We came here to get 10 drivers from the East Coast, and you're going to the 2010.
So just crossing the finish line was, for us, a huge accomplishment. And then when Dave and Jeff said that they only had 9 competitors from the East Coast, and then I was the 10th, so came to get 10. That's for us. That's you know, we were out there in February for KOH, and it's gonna be good to go back out there.
Everybody rallying up, man. I was trying to get it across my own power, but I appreciate everybody out there that was gonna help me out. I just want to say thanks to these guys over here. Man, what a day. Dude, crossing that finish line for me.
You're my hero, dude. You are